But, you know, a lot of people have a problem with their sexuality. You know, Nikola Tesla destroyed his sexuality. That's like a quote from his biography, that he destroyed his sexuality, and somehow. Nikola Tesla's like the greatest inventor ever.
Yeah.
He invented alternating current. He invented like hundreds of different things. And, you know, Westinghouse and a lot of these big companies just totally ripped this guy off. He was born, or he died broke, and you know, the government came in when he died. He lived in New York, and they just came in and just took all of his notes and all of his information. But he created the Tesla coil and alternating current and all sorts of amazing inventions. He was a crazy, crazy dude. And he said that he was getting all of his information from aliens. That's the thing. He believed that he was tuning in to aliens, and they were communicating with him and giving him his information.
Yeah, he was supposedly making death rays and force fields and things like that.
Well, he created a way to broadcast electricity for free. And when Westinghouse found out what he was doing, they closed down the project. But he figured out a way to send electricity like radio through the air, and anyone would just be able to tune in electricity. And they were like, we can't make money off that. What are you doing, stupid? And they yanked it. I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's not in today, is because they have never figured out how to make money off of it. But they can broadcast electricity. I mean, it's really, really crazy stuff.
Hate to walk through that stream.
Whoops. But Tesla,
There's a lot of
he
people,
was very distracted.
There are a lot of people that believe aliens or whatever, people from another life form help you out with, like,
it's probably DMT.
With your creative mind, and, you know, as far as inventing stuff and things like
this
that.
DMT stuff, if you take DMT, you will communicate with something. And it's so beyond description that me talking about it is like trying to explain a kaleidoscope to a blind man. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, there's no way you could explain it. I mean, it's so beyond anything you can explain. But something communicates with you when you do this stuff.
Let's go to Lee in the Bronx. Lee.
Yeah.
Come on, Lee. Let's go. We're having a good discussion.
Just get out of your tank.
In the ball.
Yeah.
Yes, I was Lee from Brooklyn. I was watching YouTube yesterday, searching for the DMT, and I browsed around Joe Rogan. I got interested in stuff, and I kept on getting into it. And I found a video of a young lady. She was giving a tutorial how to extract the toads, the DMT.
Right.
She has a different method on how to, like, the way she did it was she did it anally. Just put it that way.
She did it. She put it there. Yeah. Well, if you do that, I guess, that goes directly into the bloodstream. I mean, that's why people sniff cocaine, right? Because it goes directly through your nose into your bloodstream.
Right. Let's say hi to Kevin in Buffalo.
Wow, that guy just
he just wrecked our trip.
See, that's the problem with drugs, is the people that do them. It's like, that's what I say the problem with pot is that pot propaganda is so powerful that there's only two types of people that get into pot. People who were informed and who read about the propaganda go, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. All these government and university studies and medical studies show that it doesn't do any harm, but why is it illegal? And they start looking into it, and then they find out the history of it, and then they have some friends and say it enhances your creativity, and they try it. So there's that group, and then there's people that, I just want to get effed up, man, and they know about the propaganda, and they don't care if it gives you brain damage. They don't care, and those are the types of people that are the problem, because that's the stereotypical pot drug user,
Right on. Let's say hi to Kevin in Buffalo, listening on The Edge. Kevin, what's up?
What's up, man?
Hey.
I was wondering if you guys are going to have a contest, win a trip with Joe Rogan.
I don't want to be responsible.
God, what a great idea.
That is a good
If we could get that done through the lawyers, how great would that be?
Oh, through the lawyers, yeah.
We'd have to do
We'd
it in
have a
South
contest.
America.
Don't drug
We'd have to go to Brazil.
Yeah, we're going to have a contest where you get to win a trip with Joe Rogan. Where are we going? Nowhere, really.
We're going to a totally different place, my friend. It ain't Maui.
You don't need a plane for where we're going.
You don't need a passport either.
Let's say hi to Roger in Queens. Roger.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey, man. Before you guys go into another subject, I wanted to share my experience of something that I had once smoked. I did some research while I was in college, and I found this drug called Salvia. Did you ever hear about that stuff?
Yeah, I've done Salvia. Salvia divinorum. Yeah.
Of
that
course.
stuff, at the time, apparently, it was completely legal.
Yeah, it's legal now still. You can get it at head shops. You can order it online. It's only going to be legal in 2008 in Chicago or in Illinois. That's the first state to make it illegal.
Oh, that's exciting.
What is it about?
Salvia is a naturally occurring psychedelic that they missed during the reason why psychedelic drugs are illegal. There's a bunch of them that aren't even active in human beings. They were made illegal during the LSD craze in the 1970s because they realized that LSD was having a very profound effect on culture, very profound. It's very difficult to sneak political debates by people who've done acid, because they're just like, what? No, this is stupid. This is a lie, and it's impossible to program them. I mean, that's the real problem with psychedelic drugs, and Salvia was one that they missed. There's a few that they missed. 5-methoxy-DMT is still legal, and it's unbelievably powerful. 5-N-N-DMT they found out about because the Army Research Labs in the 1960s, it's one of the ways Terrence McKenna found it, was one of the guys that he went to college with was working for the Army back in the day, and they had like a huge, like a barrel full of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's the most unbelievably potent psychedelic drug, and the Army was experimenting with it. And as soon as they found out about what it does, they're like, nope, illegal, stop. It's amazing that people don't know about it. I mean, it's the most incredible experience. I mean, we are such an experience-obsessed society. I mean, everybody wants to go whitewater rafting, and people want to talk about, my uncle climbed Mount Everest. It's all about experiences. We all want to ride roller coasters and see the craziest movies. There is a little powder, and you smoke this little powder, and it will change the way you look at everything. You won't care about UFOs. If a UFO landed right out there, I'd be like, wow, yeah, they're probably from another planet. Whatever. It's not DMT. DMT is 100,000 times crazier than that. It's like mushrooms times 1 million plus aliens. That's what it's like. And literally, I mean, it sounds, it's crazier than you could possibly imagine or describe. My words do it no justice.
You would take it on a plane?
No, it's not recreational. And it's not something you could take on a plane because you have to smoke it. And you wouldn't want to be around people and noises or anything. You'd want to be in total darkness,
desert or
silence, and you want to just experience that.
Can you have bad trips on DMT?
Sure, you can have bad trips in anything, but bad trips are usually you trying to resist and your ego trying to control the situation, and you realizing what a piece of poo you really are. Your ego protects you from a lot of your terrible behavior, and it justifies a lot of things you do. But man, when mushrooms or DMT or anything that removes the ego, it just shows you what your life is really like and who you really are. That's where the bad trips come from. Bad trips don't come from happy people with wonderful lives or loving families or nice to everybody. Bad trips come from people who are doing bad things, or they're insecure, they have real bad problems in their past that they're squashing and they're not dealing with, and then it just wham, just comes right up to the surface.
You're going to be a messiah someday, you know that. You're going to have a following. It's kind of creepy, man.
The government's going to come in and
they're
kill you.
They're probably already watching.
But
set his compound on fire.
I've been wanting a compound for years.
This might be a little hack. But do you believe in aliens?
There's certainly something other than us. It doesn't make any sense. If you look, there's 100 billion stars in this galaxy.
Yeah, I just do the math.
There's 100 billion galaxies in the known universe.
Right.
It absolutely.
It has to be something.
But what we have to consider is that biological life on this planet is dictated by our gravity. It's dictated by the distance from the planet, but from the sun is dictated by how much water we have on our planet. There's no telling that there's not some sort of a different kind of life. It's very possible that there are billions or infinite different types of life that we just don't understand it. And it might not even be detectable to us. It's like the way I describe it is like the fart. He's sitting around wallowing this. We can detect a fart because you can smell. You go, oh, gee, what the hell? Who did it? Who did it? And you go crazy. But there could be something around us all the time.
Oh, that's creepy, man.
We just don't have the senses to pick it up.
There could
never
be
thought of it like
an
that.
infinite amount of possibilities of all sorts of different experiences and things that are around us all the time that we're just not aware of.
As humans, we're just pompous to begin with. We think it's just has to be our way and that's it, and there's no other things or anything else going on.
Well, we shield ourselves from that because the real reality is, like, look, just stare up at space. I mean, everybody wants to talk about Britney Spears. Should you take her kids away? We're in a rock flying through the universe, and that rarely comes up. Everyone wants to talk about Barry Bonds, and above you is the craziest thing you could ever look at ever. And people will take, like, road trips to go to Niagara Falls. We got to go. We got to go to see the waterfalls. Amazing. There's nothing more amazing than space, but nobody looks at it because it's too crazy.
Yeah.
The idea that above you is infinite.
Right.
Infinite.
You can't see much. That's the problem. It's like space. They all look the same. At least Niagara Falls, there's some water. You can go to a gift shop. What are you gonna do? Just get in a car and ride to the moon and
You
then
gotta get to a
die 'cause you can't
telescope.
breathe?
He brings up a really good point, though, because when you're out in the wilderness where you're away from city lights and you do look up in the sky, you can only do it for a few minutes, and then you start kind of
freaking
subconsciously get freaked
You're
out.
very small,
and
is
you're
what
like,
the problem
all
is.
right, let's go to Starbucks or let's go eat. Like, you want to get back to, like, just what you know.
Especially if you're
I
big.
mean nothing.
Yeah.
You
I
really
mean
mean
nothing.
He's right.
Well, you're part of everything. You don't really mean nothing. You mean everything, but you are everything. It's like it's a suit. It's just our own biology tricks us into thinking that we're important because that's the only way to stay alive. If you really were intelligent enough to rationalize your real position in this whole thing, you would be so humbled by it that you wouldn't really have any ambition. You wouldn't want to keep going. You wouldn't want to get laid. You really wouldn't want to do anything because you'd see how pointless it is. It'd be really silly. But your biology and your ego shields you from all that and go, "You're a winner, Trump. You go out there and get those buildings and build that mansion and fly that jet. Look at me. Look at that watch, son. You can afford that watch. Get that car and drive. Look at everybody. Envy me." But me, really, you're just flying through space
On a rock, yeah.
you're the head monkey with the brightest fur.
At the mercy of whatever
of the mercy of the
cataclysm
universe.
might be around the corner.
Oh, for sure, around the corner. You ever watch like one of those documentaries on Yellowstone? How ready that thing is to blow?
Yep.
Every 600,000 years, a caldera volcano that's just the base of it is 600 kilometers wide. They didn't even know it was a volcano until they saw it from a satellite. It blows every 600,000 years and it kills everything in North America. It happened 600,000 years ago was the last blow, and it's rising at like a steady pace, like at record levels. It's going to go, and if that doesn't go, there's 100,000 near-Earth objects flying through our solar system that are like 5 miles long, solid rock,
Just constantly
ready.
crossing our orbit. We just don't happen to be
passing
there
by
at the right
Pluto,
time.
yeah.
How many
beyond the
parties have
sun.
you emptied
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, no,
I want to know how many.
But I'm a happy person. I like to have fun. These things. It's like if you've had enough of these experiences, well, what is life? Well, life should be a bunch of positive experiences. It should be a lot of fun. So that's what comedy is. I mean, comedy is like spreading fun. It's spreading love, spreading happiness. You go on stage and everybody has a good time. You say thanks for coming out. Everybody cheers. You have fun. It's a positive experience. And that's all you have in life. Really, is positive experiences with your girlfriend, your family, your friends, your buddies. That's really all life is.
You know what sucks? We're lucky enough to have a life, and you'll live your whole life not knowing anything.
Yeah.
When it comes down to like looking up at the stars, like what is all that? Is there other life forms? Is there other things just around you? Yeah, we never will get the answers to any of that stuff.
That's the craziest thing about DMT, because DMT is literally like having a meeting with God. It's like having a meeting with divine, unbelievably wise, incredibly loving energy, like whatever it is, the source of everything. And it leaves you so humbled that after it's over, it's like literally like you're still you still look like you still wear the same clothes you are, but you're not really you anymore. I mean, you literally have been changed. You have experienced something that very few humans experience. And the thought to me that people can go through their entire lives and not know about this is an incredible waste of time. It's like your life could be so much more positive and so much more interesting and fascinating, and you would be so much more humble and aware of what you really are and where you really stand if you just had this experience.
Can you get this drug at
totally illegal?
Duane Reade?
It should be. Well, that's the crazy thing is you can get alcohol everywhere. You can go to Duane Reade and buy a jug of wine and get effed up. You know? I mean, we have drugs that are available. I mean, how many times you talk to a girl? Oh, I don't do drugs. Meanwhile, she's hammered, smoking a cigarette. I mean, everybody. There's drugs, caffeine. I mean, I'm drinking a coffee right now. It's sanctioned. It's a sanctioned drug because it's great for capitalism. It keeps you going. It keeps you working. But there's there's drugs out there that are actually good for you. There's drugs out there that are actually good for your mind, and they're probably an important part of human evolution. Terence McKenna believed that psilocybin and psilocybin mushrooms are the very reason for human evolution in the first place, the reason why we evolved from the lower hominids. He believes that the change in the atmosphere made these monkeys come down off the trees and start experimenting with new foods. And one of the things they experimented was eating things that grow on cow pies and eating these mushrooms. And it's also one of the reasons why in so many different religions, cows are holy. In in Choctaw Hiok, which is like one of the oldest known civilizations, they all worship cows. There's a really complicated, really advanced civilization from 5,000-6,000 years ago, and it was all about cattle worship. And that's because that's where the mushrooms came from.
Can I stop you for a second?
I think the monkeys' minds were expanded by mushrooms.
Absolutely. Well, you know what?
Hysterical.
The growth of the human brain, this is the stoned ape theory is McKenna's theory, but the growth of the human brain doubled in brain size in 2 million years, and it's the biggest mystery, without question, without contest, in the entire fossil record. And this is evolutionary biologists all agree on this. It's something they don't understand. Within 2 million years, the human brain doubled. That's insane.
I think I know why, though. Because for a long time, they were probably just walking up to tigers and just slapping them. and something in the species said, this is not working. We better get smart.
We got to try another way, right?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because you know what? We have genetic memory. I mean, that's another point. Like this guy, Rupert Sheldrake, wrote about this, that, children, when they grow up in New York City, they're not afraid of child molesters or, clowns or muggers. They're afraid of scary monsters. Everyone's afraid of scary monsters. And what that is those leftover memories of people getting jacked by cougars, and mountain lions and jaguars. I mean, because that's what our enemies were when we were living in the trees, That's why chimps live in that's why, like, when you're in a house, the master bedroom's always upstairs. That's all leftover stuff from the chimp days when we had to get the little skinny branches to hide from the big cats. That's all that stuff that's in your memory.
I thought
it was just you didn't want your guests rummaging through your bedroom.
No, it's a fort. You want to keep the animals from coming up. You want to be able to fight them from the
high
top.
ground.
I want to go back to the cow thing, because like we all heard about how civilizations like worship the cow.
Yeah.
And the average person, meaning just about everybody listening right now, goes, stupid people worshiping cows, instead of maybe like trying to figure out where that came from, and if there is something that makes sense about that.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah, but to me, I'm like, what idiots?
Well, psilocybin grows much more easily on cow manure than much more easily on manure. When animals, vegetables, and a plant, when it gets pumped through the double stomach of these cows, it makes it very easy for spores to grow on these things.
Yeah.
So it's very common for mushrooms to grow on cow dung. And if you were a primitive man and you had no access to science, you didn't understand what spores were, you don't have a microscope, you would know that these cows produce something which made the most beautiful experience possible. Made your ego dissolve, made you think of everyone as being one, made you love everyone, made you completely humble, make you really spiritual and holy, and it's coming out of this cow's butt. You would worship that cow. You wouldn't think of it as like, oh, it's stinky cow poo. You'd be like, no, that's God. That's the source of God. You pluck that out and you eat it, and it blows your mind.
A bit of observation here of an observation. I'm looking at instant feedback. People saying Joe Rogan is the only guest where you need to Google the entire time you listen to him. People are Googling their asses off right now from name to
Terrence
dog.
McKenna's stoned ape theory is one of the most fascinating theories I've ever read about human evolution, and it's all about psychedelics.
All right, let's go to Keith on Long Island. Keith, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing? I love the show, man.
Thanks.
Listen, I got a question. I understand about the mushrooms and enhancing and all that stuff, but my question is metaphysically, like I understand about the planets and how space is so grand and infinite, but what about like when someone dies and they come to see you in your dreams? Is that real? Is that your psyche?
That's a real good question, man. It might be you trying to deal with it in your subconscious. It might be that there's something, it's very possible that that's where we go when we die, that dream state that you have to go to. No one understands what dreaming's all about. No one understands why you have to do it, but you must dream. If you don't dream, you die. It's not just a matter of lying down and closing your eyes. You have to go into REM sleep. If you don't, when you fall asleep, the reason why people are up for like days at a time and you drive and you like instantly fall asleep, you go to sleep like that. It's like you owe time. It's like you owe time to the dream state. It's like it's very possible that what we think of as consciousness is just one state of consciousness, and there's many different states that we go through in the middle of the night that we're not aware of when we're awake. And that consciousness might be more potent, might be more powerful than this consciousness, the waking consciousness. We're just arrogant in assuming that this is what life is all about, that the wake is what is important. It's not necessarily true. It's what's important while you're awake, but it might not be what's important.
My dreaming, it's
pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, I was just saying, but the dream part isn't the part that will physically screw you up. I've had dreams where I've woken up and gone, oh, That was the easiest solution to a problem I ever had, just opening my eyes. Because I was in some deep crap about a second ago.
Right.
The cops are after me. I had murdered somebody. I was totally panicked going, oh, my God, they found the body. Like, sometimes I have these dreams where the cops will come and knock on the door and go, do you know about this person? I'll be like, oh, my God, 10 years ago I killed someone and buried him. And like, they're finding out. And I'm so screwed. And then I'll slowly wake up and look around and go, oh, I'm out of trouble. Just like that was easy.
No lawyers.
Yeah. No lawyers. No prison.
That's so true.
No taking it in the shower.
No fake beards.
And it's such a great feeling when it's over.
Yes,
God,
that's awesome.
you nailed it.
And that's
so true.
like
That's
the
so
part
true.
of the dream where in reality you're like, please get me out of this.
Well,
and sleeping ain't going to help. You're going to be in jail.
It's totally true. But that aspect of it, though, the explanation about that is that aspect of dreaming where you can recognize it, it seems like regular life, is when the DMT is ebbing from your consciousness, when it's going away. When you're in full-blown DMT mode, the craziest thing about DMT is when you do it, it's unbelievable. It's you can't imagine yours. Terrence McKenna's quote was that the only thing you have to fear is death by astonishment. But you also feel like you've been there. That's the craziest thing, because you are. You're there every night when you're asleep. You just don't remember it. But while that's wearing off, that's when we have these wacky dreams. That's when we have dreams. When that stuff is slowly starting to leave your system in the middle of the night or whenever you're dreaming, it ebbs and flows. And when it's slowly starting to, that's when, your cousin has a gun and he comes home covered in blood and you got to get him to Mexico. And you're like, oh, no. That's where those dreams come from.
I've only done it 7 times.
It's not something you do all the time. It's very. I haven't done it in a year.
It's hard to find, right?
Yeah, it's very hard to find. And even if you can find it, which I can, I stare at it and go, no, not today.
Yeah,
I got stuff to do. You know,
be ready for it.
I got to go hang out with my girlfriend's mom, and there's a lot of stuff I got to do, man. It won't make it's something that you got to do, and then you need a long time off where you got to think about that experience.
Yeah,
we're not talking about like getting high. We're not talking about getting drunk. Like, oh, dude, I went to a concert, I got so drunk. It's a completely life-changing experience, and it's not something you should take lightly.
Getting back to dreams, ever since my dad died, and I was way close to my dad. I know a lot of guys are close to their dad, but we had a really special bond. And I dream about him, and at times he hugs me in my dreams. It is the creepiest, realest thing. And I've been in situations in dreams where you hug another person and someone you might even maybe your girlfriend or your girlfriend or something.
Then they turn into a Vespa.
It's not the same feeling. It is
real.
It is the creepiest feeling where it wakes me the F up. I'm like, I can't deal with this. This is effed up.
That happened to me once.
It just feels so I can't explain it to anybody, but it just feels so much different than anything else I've ever dreamed of. Anything.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've had friends that have died, and you have a moment in a dream with a friend or something, but it's just odd. You just kind of wake up knowing that was a dream. I was just thinking about that guy or whatever in my sleep. But this hug from my dad I can't explain.
Well, maybe
I
it's
want
the
to talk to
love
someone
for your
about it.
dad is like so pure. It was so. Love for your friends is never going to be the same as a love for your dad or your mom. It's so powerful and pure, and maybe you can communicate with that when you're in your dream
I don't know.
state.
I can't rationalize it when I'm awake. It's like every once in a while it happens, and it creeps me out to the point I wake up instantly, no matter what.
I had one like that with Phil Hartman. And it really helped me forget, and not just forget, but get over his murder. And I ran into him in the dream. I ran into him like in a park, and the only difference, he was exactly him, but he looked great. He looked like he was like healthy, like he had been eating right, but he had gray hair. It was really strange, but it was him. Like he was like talking to me, and I go, dude, your wife killed you. What was this like? He goes, yeah, she got a little mad, and he like starts laughing.
Oh, wow!
And he goes, "Listen, sit down. I'll talk about it." And he pratfalled. He went to sit in the chair and fell and rolled over and started laughing. And because that's what Phil was like. He was like always like he would make light of anything and everything. The guy was really, really funny, like off stage, much funnier than he was on stage. He was always worried about his image, about being the family man. He was worried about divorcing this chick because he was really worried about his image, and he was worried about his money and a bunch of other stuff. But off screen, he was one of the funniest guys I've ever been around ever. But he was laughing and joking in the dream, and when I woke up, I was like, wow. It was like Phil told me don't worry about it. Like that's what it really felt like. Like go on with your life. I'm okay.
Do you hate Andy Dick like Lovitz did? Like, because he kind of blamed Andy Dick, or you did not have that?
No, Andy did. That chick was crazy. She was going to shoot him no matter what. It didn't matter if Andy Dick got her coke. She would have got coke from some other guy. She was with some guy that night that got it to her. I mean, you can get coke. I mean, Andy is Andy. It's like that's like blaming a child that you give a gun to. Oh, why'd you shoot somebody?
Yeah.
It's Andy.
I just got to talk about one more dream thing. A lot of times I dream they're like sets. I have set places
that you go to over
that
and
I go
again?
to over and over, like houses, certain places, cars, things like that. And few times I'm able to actually in my dream go, holy crap, I'm dreaming. Like I'm in my dream and I look around and go, like something so ridiculous happens that I go, oh man, I'm dreaming.
Isn't that awesome?
Which is total freedom. And you know what the first thing I do is? I go on a rape rampage. I swear to you. Dude, I know I'm dreaming. I can do whatever I want with impunity, and I just start, the first girl that's even near me, the clothes get ripped off, and I just start, like,
that's awesome.
Complete rape rampage.
You don't make them consent at all. You want it against their will. You don't want them.
You know why? Because I know that if I start identifying that it's a dream, I'm very close to waking up.
Yeah.
So you got to get that over with quickly.
Well, there's
no talking. There's
keep
no
that going. There's methods to keep that going.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
There's books on lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming. Yeah.
One of the things you're supposed to do.
You really were raping, and then
and you wake up.
Hey, no, it's a dream, officer.
Come on, folks.
Come on. Ow, this mace really feels authentic.
There's a method that you use that it only worked once on me, but it does work. Where I was practicing it for a while, where I'd walk into a doorway. I saw it in a documentary, and you knock on the door, you go, am I awake or am I dreaming? And you knock on the door, and you do it throughout the day, like all the time. Do it so it's like a pattern, so it's normal. Well, in my dream, I walked up to a wall, I go, am I awake or am I dreaming? And my hand went right through the wall.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, snap, I thought I was awake. I really thought I was awake. I mean, I was going through a normal life. So then I started flying. I said,
flying is all. If rape isn't involved, then flying is a good second best.
Oh, it was awesome.
There's also that you were talking about. Am I awake or am I dreaming? If I'm unsure in a dream, all I have to do, and it's a weird thing, I have to look out a window in utter terror, and if the most horrific thing appears on the other side coming to get me, I'll know I'm dreaming. But then it's so screwed up because I just created this beast that's not going to be chasing me throughout the rest of the dream. But that's one way to do it.
You know how I know? I'll take my clothes off and stand in a mirror, and if I feel good about myself, I know I'm asleep.
Hey, Joe, you ever feel like you left your body?
Yeah, Salvia. Salvia did that for me.
I once as a kid, I felt like I absolutely left my body while I was sleeping and went into the bathroom just to do whatever.
Yeah,
but I remember it to this day. Like I truly felt like I wasn't going to walk into the bathroom physically. It was the weirdest. It only happened once, and that's something I always go back to from time to time as well.
I had a weird dream that I remember from when I was like 4 or 5 years old, where I was cross-legged, like sitting like an Indian or like a yoga guy, and I was flying through my hallway. And I don't remember any other dreams from this time, but I remember that dream, that one dream of like flying around, like outside of your body. Who knows what kids are more tuned into? Kids are less programmed, We're programmed by
a couple
patterns.
Dreams from when I was really young too, but only a couple.
Yeah,
when you were really young, and then like this many years later, and you remember
why?
it.
Yeah, why that one?
That's really odd.
But at that time, I really felt like something
was it a dream?
Way different. I can't explain it.
Well, did it happen while you were asleep? Like
I was definitely asleep. It was the middle of the night, and it could have easily been me dreaming that I'm walking to the bathroom. But I truly felt like I was actually walking to the bathroom without my body.
Well, this experience that we have while we're in heavy REM sleep, they believe is also responsible for alien abductions. Because no aliens come to people when it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, Manhattan, you're on your way to work, you're walking down the street, you see a UFO. That's not when it happens.
Right.
It happens when you're asleep, over and over and over again. And they believe that this is the same thing, that this incredibly real experience. And you're like, no, I'm telling you it happened. They came into my house, and you think of it as a physical thing. It's all going on. It's the same thing as this crazy dream of you being out of your body.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of states of consciousness that we go into in the middle of the night.
We got to take a quick break. This is really, really interesting.
It's crazy,
The
right?
phones are just ridiculous. We're never going to get to everybody, but we'll try.
Hold on.
The important thing, Joe Rogan's at Caroline's tonight. Very